What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASA Studio channel for music producers and photographers. Today it's a retouching tutorial in Photoshop, and we're going to be looking at how to retouch images, and the image in the screen is what we're going to be using. First of all, a very quick question: is your photo having different variation in colors, or does the channel in that encompasses the image have different color or different saturation? We're going to be checking out how to fix that, and how to also fix the frequency separation to get or achieve the results you see in the thumbnail. Alright, so let's get started. First of all, let's zoom in and let's observe what's actually going on. Now you can see that our face is actually rough, and we actually need to fix that with frequency separation. But before that, look at our hands and look at our face. It actually have different saturation which needs to be fixed. And if you look closely, you might wonder which color is actually more saturated in the channel. Of course, you can see that it is not actually green. It could either be red or it could either be yellow. But from the way I'm seeing it, it's actually yellow, because if you check around this side, it's actually the same around this side, but the rest part is actually looking yellowish. But this is a low resolution photo, but it's actually going to still fix the job. But a lot of photo like this can be fixed with white balance, but we're going to be doing all that in a minute. Alright, so let's get started. First thing, let's fix this with white balance, and I'm not going to be going to capture camera raw filter, but I'm going to be using the white balance. So I'm going to be using the solid color adjustment layer for that. Then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to turn it off and double click on this one, and then select the mouth or the white part of our teeth. You can zoom in and select the eye region, but whichever you want to make. I'm just going to select around here and get the average, and then I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to turn it back on and see how it transforms the photo. From the blending mode, change it to divide, and you can see how it brightens the image up. Let's undo that. Let's select the move tool and select the move, so we can zoom in and see how it actually brightens the face from this to this. Now I'm just going to double click and go to the brightness. If yours is here, click this side and then increase just a little bit so as to avoid clipping. But if you still want to select other parts, you can actually click somewhere around here, and then you see what's actually going on. But let's see, you see it's over. But I'm just going to leave there, and then I'm going to do cancel. Now let's fix the color, which is this one. Now we're going to go here, and then we're going to click on the hue and saturation. Now under the hue and saturation, if at all I'm going to use the hand tool and then click on any one, it's going to say it's yellow, that is actually going to be selected. But the best way to figure out and the best way to get knowledge about how the color to fix is to start trying out these things. But I'm going to go to the yellows, and then I'm going to desaturate it, and you can see that it's actually getting like the way this is. And we can go to the red also, and then bring that all the way down a little, and you can see that the saturation is fixed and it's like that off the end. But if it's too much, you can go back to the yellows, and then you can bring it all the way up a little bit. But I'm going to leave it like this, because taking it all the way back looks like the ends. But let's leave it like this, and then let's fix things. I'm going to add the saturation later after the frequency separation. So I'm going to hit the X button, and then we're back to this. So you can see how I'm going to group the two together, and then you can see where the before and then the after. So what's a very great change. Now I'm going to create a stem visible layer, and after I create a stem visible layer, I'm going to be doing some frequency separation. So hit Ctrl J twice, and I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm going to fix the frequency separation, just because we all know what frequency separation is. But if you want to actually make the blacks brighter, you can go to camera raw filter and then increase the shadows and the highlights. But let's see what we get when we do frequency separation. Maybe we're going to do that in the photo, or maybe we're not, or maybe we're going to leave it like this. So back to the frequency separation. If you don't know how to do frequency separation, it's actually easy. Just follow the step. Name this one after duplicating the layer twice, color, and then name this one on top, name it and after that turn off this one, and then we're going to blur this color layer. go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and after that, that's too much. Just blur it where you know the face is actually smooth and you can still see the content of the face. So I guess this is actually okay. The more you blur, the more texture you're gonna get. I'm gonna turn this back on, and then I'm going to turn on the texture layer, go to image, apply image, and then set your layer to color, and this one set it to subtract, and then scale to offset 128. Click on OK. Now you can see, if you zoom closely, you can see that the texture is separated from the color. So now one last thing, change it back to linear light, and then you have your image. I'm going to group the two together, and then I'm going to name it frequency separation, and after that I'm going to open it up. For the color layer, use your mixer tool brush, and for the texture layer, use your clone stamp tool, so mixer tool brush. And then I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to quickly blend everything together. But make sure when you're blending, don't actually touch the highlights. I don't actually touch the highlights, I just blend places that are necessary. Alright, so see you when I'm done with the frequency separation. So I'm done with the frequency separation, and you can see before and after. Turn it back on, after, before, and then after. And you can check so many videos online showing you how to do frequency separation. It's just a way of separating the texture and the color so you can work on it independently. And now we're actually through with the photo, because this is the real color of a skin tone, but we can make the photo to look more beautiful or stunning. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to take it to the camera raw filter. So I'm going to create a stand visible layer first of all, and then I'm going to go to filter, camera raw filter. So let's go to camera raw filter. Alright, so now we are in camera raw filter, and then we're going to make some adjustments. So first of all, you can see the lightness of the end and that of our face not matching, and we can actually fix that with the highlights. So I'm going to bring the highlights down so we can actually see that it's actually matching now, and you can actually increase the whites to compensate for that loss of highlights. So I'm going to make it brighter, and then you can check hardly before you know that this is our hair, until you see from the background and you know that this is a low quality image. So bringing up the blacks, which is actually supposed to make everything look okay. If you bring it up too much, you can see that is making things brighter. But let's try out with the shadows. The shadow, which is actually making things looking good. If you bring it all the way up, you can see this place, of which I don't want that. But assuming it's a raw file, we can actually fix that. But we can still fix that with frequency separation. So let's take it up, take this up too, and make the image a little bit lively. Alright, so let's go down and we can put more texture, so as to get just a little bit of texture. We can actually go back and go to the, I don't want to use curve on this time around. Let's go to the color mixer, and then the yellows. Go back to the yellows on the saturation, and let's bring it down back a little, and let's see that it match the skin more. We can also bring back the oranges, and we see that. Okay, let's bring up the yellows a little bit more. I just want to achieve the same color with the ends, and then later we can work on the saturation more. I want to work on the lips, so I'm going to saturate the lips, and we have that saturation. Alright, so there's no green in the photo, and this we can actually fix that again with frequency separation, so don't worry about that. Let's quickly go to the luminance and bring down the luminance of the red, and the two, just like that. And the orange, we can actually leave it like that, and we can bring down the luminance of the yellows just a little. You can see the saturation of the green. I'm going to bring it down extremely down, and because there is no actual green. Okay, so I think we're done with the photo. The last part we're going to go is the calibration panel, and because she's actually black, we can actually take the primary backwards and take the blues upward if it actually favors the image. So taking this back, taking this back. On the other way around, it's going to make the image yellow, but I don't want the yellow feel, I just want the real feel. Alright, so the greens, You can take it up whichever suit. I don't want the red color, I want the melanin color feel, something like that. Alright, so you can click on OK, and you can see the difference between the before and then the after. Okay, so now let's do some color grading on the photo. But apart from that, we can actually fix this with frequency separation, but I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just going to go and color grade. So let's go to the color, and then we are going to go to the highlight, and we can add some yellows to the highlight and add some red to the highlight, and you can also include some magenta here. Let's go back to the midtones, also the same thing. Let's add in some yellows, and we can dial in some red like that, and you can see that it's actually affecting both the ends and all around. Okay, so that's okay. For the shadows, we can add a little more of the blues this time around to make the image look. But if you take it to the yellow, it's gonna, I don't want the yellow feel, that's why I'm adding the blues this time, just a little bit, +3. And then we can also add the cyan, opposite of red, and we can see the difference before and then after. Brought out the skin tone a little more. Let me zoom in, before and then after. Unlike this first one, it's just like just the same. Alright, so you can create a stamp visible layer, and then we can also do another frequency separation to fix this place like I said. So I'm quickly going to do that. So I'm done with that. You can see before and after, fixed with frequency separation before and then after. But if you feel like the teeth isn't white enough, you know what to do. Let's fix the teeth. So go here, go to photo filter, and from photo filter go to the blue. You can choose the blue 82. Okay, and we can actually invert the mask and then paint with the normal brush. Reduce the brush size, and let's see, yeah, soft brush, and then you can actually paint with that, just like that. Let's bring it down back a little, and you can see. Alright, so let's zoom into the eyes, and then also paint this. But if you want the black and white feel, you can also create another layer. I'm gonna make this one white also, just like that, and earrings, and you can see how things are actually looking awesome. Okay, so you can do this with the background to show more of the lights and the rest stuff, mostly the highlights. So I can also work on this one and then make it brighter, make this brighter, and this one just a little bit, but if you want to. Alright, so I'm just going to undo that one. It's actually too bright. Okay, let's undo the two. I think that's actually okay, but I'm going to reduce the opacity or the flow and then do that. I think it actually helps the photo more. So just a little, and then bring down this one just a little, just a little, and just a little. Alright, this place also. Alright, so it actually helps brighten up the photo. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the tutorial. Let's create a stamp visible layer one more time, and then I'm going to group this from here to, okay, let's just turn everything off, the effect, and let's see where we came from. So yeah, all right, so from this reddish yellowish looking, and we got to this place with the color correction, and then we got to this place with the frequency separation, and then we got to this place with the color balance and the camera raw filter, and then to the final look with frequency separation. So at the end of the day, we came from year to year. Amazing, right? Yeah, amazing. All right, so one last thing, you can actually add the melanin skin lot. So go to color lookup, and I guess I have that on the group. So it's just for melanin skin, and I'm going to reduce the opacity to somewhere around 10 or 12, so you can see before. Just add some black, feel to it. You can actually increase if you want to, so you can see the cool feel. It's actually added to the photo. All right, so thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay tuned. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for staying tuned. This is once again, this is ASAS.